Distinguished guests and online viewers, thank you for joining the AI Innovation Application Forum Transforming AI and Industry. The design of this forum aims to discuss the methods and approaches of AI industrialization, and based on several application cases in Taiwan, it is hoped that more industries can introduce AI applications to achieve the purpose of AI industrialization development. Joining us today, please welcome Vice President of Smart City Integrated Solution of ASUS Computer and the moderator for today's session, Mr. KJ Liu. Director of Center for Internet of Things Innovation and National Taiwan University of Science and Technology, Dr. Shuoyan Zhou. Project Manager of Digital Service Innovation Institute at Institute for Information Industry, Ms. Kay Chen. CEO of ASUS Cloud, Dr. Peter Wu. CEO of ION Networks, Mr. Eric Lin. Chief Digital Officer and Senior Vice President of Inventec Corporation, Dr. Wei Zhao Chen. And now please let us invite Mr. KJ to deliver his opening remarks.
Okay, I'm so happy and I have the honor to host today's event. Okay, and so exciting because we have so many heavyweights from the industry, from the legal person, from the government. Okay, to be invited as a speaker for today's forum. Okay, before we go for each heavyweight speaker to the PowerPoint PDF one by one, let me say something. What we are doing now and what we were doing in the past for the AI. Okay, you may all aware of the first generation AI. Actually, it's from the 1956 Dartmouth conference, especially from the famous John McCartney. Okay, and a couple of people like Seth Rich and the Newell and other big guys. Okay. Since that summer, the Dartmouth conference, actually there are two schools of artificial intelligence to be found. Okay, actually the first school is promoted by the John McCarthy. Okay, what they are saying is today's AI pretty much they want to use the AI to mimic the human brain. The second school actually is they think the AI is just a new science, just a tool to help to improve our life. Okay, so the first generation wrote about the 2006. Okay, and you all know the deep learning is today mainstream the AI. However, deep learning is really derived from the inductive logic. What's the problem for the inductive logic? Unlike the deductive logic, inductive logic it's just from the specific observation, okay, and then you try to make a general conclusion, okay. So most of the time, it's not always true, just maybe true, okay. So today the big problem is just a black box, okay. So you cannot explain. It pretty much is you learn from past, and then you try to know the future, and you really don't know what's you don't have the cause effect relationship for all those things that happen in what you did with AI. Okay, so people are really expecting the singularity, what we call the third generation. Okay, these are people what expect. Speaking of the AI today, actually they are formed by three building blocks. One is the computing power. I think like the heavyweight people in the speakers, they will maybe share with you. I think they work with NVIDIA, work with a couple like the other company. Okay, they are doing the AI-enabled chip. They are doing the GPU. Okay, later we can learn more. Okay, and the second thing is the algorithm, and the last one is the data. And for deep learning, you need a bigger set of data. This is another big issue. Okay. Don't try to see you again. Don't try to think the AI can do anything you want. Okay, the good news is we have seen the GPT-3 and the tiny machine. Okay, two things are really improve a lot for the AI. Okay, from my understanding. Again, you have to try to don't try to be caught with using AI, because to share with you, we have a successful story like the AlphaGo, but we know AlphaGo can only play a chess, only one style of chess. But you ask the AlphaGo to play the Chinese chess, that's a problem, the big problem. Same issue. So does IBM Watson, Adidas, and Google Smart Medical. Those are all the story. They are fair to make something with using the AI. Okay, so I would suggest, okay, we can follow the Go rule. This is what I conclude is a Go rule. Go rule is you try to choose the AI project per vertical, well suited to the nature of the deep learning logic. What does mean the deep learning logic? It's inductive logic. It's today is very good at the two main subjects, like the computer vision, like the NLP. So you better, this is my observation, you better stay on those two big focus area, okay? And then you really can use the AI as much as possible. Again, this is the nature of the deep learning, okay? Even though the GPT-3, it can have the almost 178 billion neurons, compared with today human neurons 80 billion. Okay, so we really improve a lot. Okay, by using the GPT-3, by using the AI. Okay, so my last things I want to share with you. We really want to see we can use the AI. We want to be the AI master, and we don't want to be a data miners. Data miners means we just keep digging the data and then keep feeding the data into the AI, and to let the AI do something for us. We should know how to use it, how to master the AI. Okay. Hopefully we will see the third generation AI soon. Okay. We do more. We really can do more things as we can do today. Such as computer vision and NLP, the two major areas we are doing. So again, today's I'm so excited to see the next the session for all the speakers to present all those AI the project they have done in the past. Okay, so they can share with us, and then we really can learn something. Okay, so I pass the floor to the Nicole, and then to let the speaker to say those things one by one. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. KJ. Next, please let us welcome Director at National Taiwan University of Science and Technology, Dr. Shuoyan Zhou, to deliver the keynote speech on the topic AI industry environment and capacity cultivation in Taiwan. Professor Zhou.
Can you see me now? See the
yes.
now? Okay. Okay. Good afternoon for those of you in Taiwan, and probably good morning or good day for others who are not in this part of the world. So thank you for joining this webinar. I'm Shuoyan Zhou. I'm running the Center for IoT Innovation at National Taiwan University of Science and Technology. So today, before all the other speakers telling you their specific applications or technology developed for AI, what I'm going to do is to introduce what Taiwanese government has done over the past few years on cultivating the environment and the capacity human resources as well as other skills in Taiwan. So I think most of you are probably quite aware of the strength of Taiwan, which is on hardware manufacturing. Taiwan has been considered as the #1 IT hardware manufacturer in the world. Semiconductor foundry services, wafer foundry, chip packaging and testing, and a few other ICT products are ranked #1 in the world. And in terms of the environment, I think Taiwan has a very high technology penetration in different vertical application areas. In Medicare, Taiwan is #1 in Asia. Particularly, Taiwan's national health insurance has become a model for the world. And Taiwan is also highly recognized for its smart city development, digital government services, smart manufacturing and quality agriculture, and so on. In fact, Taiwan has a very well-developed digital ecosystem across different industries. And Taiwan has many small and medium-sized enterprises and contain a very diverse capability and very agile to be able to cope with any kind of application development in the future. Another issue I think KJ just mentioned, our moderator KJ just mentioned, is about data. Taiwan is also ranked in terms of Open Data Index #1 in the world. There have been a lot of data opening up by the government. To be precise, there has been more than 27,000 categories of data sets opened by the government, including environmental one, including government-related data. All of them position Taiwan in a very great opportunity to develop further in smart technology industry. However, Taiwan's attempt to develop smart technology is not without challenge. Even though Taiwan is very strong in technology, technologically speaking, we are still facing some challenges. If we look at the supply chain, from component supplier all the way to application and services, and along the way from a single component to products to platform to AI analysis capability until integrated service, there are still gaps to be filled. The gaps mainly lie on strategic planning. For example, Taiwan is relatively behind in terms of positioning our hardware sensors manufacturing. And in terms of subsystem integration, we are still lacking of an integration platform to speed up the production of various kinds of products. And for further development in terms of platforms, platform for training data, for hosting different services, and platform for further analysis. These are still not yet at the time, not yet ready. In terms of data analytics, although we have some experiences, but in terms of be competitive now, we still need to have very talented and experienced human resources so that we can tackle more comprehensive problems that we are facing. And in the end, in terms of integrating all these AI functions into services, we need experiences. We need people from different disciplines to work together to make the services feasible. And also, I think just for the domestic needs alone is not sufficient for the AI industry development. So we also need to have the talents to tackle the potential internationalization of our services. So technologically, specifically on IC or semiconductor manufacturing industry, I think Taiwan is still having issues that we need to address. And fortunately, I think all these areas are areas that we are currently addressing. So having said that, Taiwan is very strong in hardware technologies and hardware industry, but still, in order to enter the AI development and taking leading role, there are still quite a few issues that need to be addressed. Recognize these kind of opportunities as well as challenges, and Taiwanese government started the development of the environment and capacity since 2017. Basically, government wanted to combine AI development with the 5+2 industry innovation program, which is a major industry reinvention program in the government. So since 2018, government has passed the so-called Taiwan AI Action Plan. Taiwan AI Action Plan is basically trying to understand the AI industry, the industry needs, and trying to realizing AI application based on the needs. So it is aligned with the 5+2 industry that Taiwan has been promoting. And in this direction, in fact, 3 major areas which I have mentioned need to be tackled seriously. One is human shortage of the human resources, the proper human resources. Secondly is for AI to continue to accelerate, and for Taiwan to take part in the leadership. Taiwan needs to focus more on AI core technologies. It's not necessarily just on AI chips or fundamental technologies. It is also including AI application core technologies. And all these technology cannot survive without proper application. And so and the market. So what the government also focus on in the AI Action Plan is trying to build up a broad adoption of AI to strengthening the competitiveness of the Taiwanese industry. So the goal is transforming a lot of industry with AI. And with the understanding of the problem and the action plan, I think government set up this AI promotion framework. The vision is by 2021, we want to have broad AI adoption across industry. Hopefully, we can regain our leadership in hardware manufacturing on AI. So we hope that we can be on top 3 AI chip provider in the world. And also for AI applications, there should be specific industry domains where Taiwan has synergies. So we are also hoping to develop a specific AI application which we can lead. We can having a advantage position in the world. So the approach will be from helping the industry to experience innovation on AI, and gradually integrating software and hardware. And hopefully we can, by doing so, we can invigorate the momentum of our industry. And the application should come from certain industry. So the development will be based on the 5+2 industry innovation areas. So smart manufacturing, machinery, Asia, the Silicon Valley, biomedical, green energy, and national defense. These are the 5. And the other 2 are circular economy and new agriculture. I think from these industry sectors, you can probably tell that these are the very promising area for the development, and with the assistance of AI, they should be further strengthened. So let me explain a little bit detail on these 5 action plans identified by the government. The first one is about human resources cultivation. It's called AI Talent Charge Program. AI is basically using, and it will be adopted all through the entire program. That is having industry to identify, to pose problems, and based on the needs of the industry, through the cultivation of the human resources and talents, these people will be able to help industry to identify a problem, coaching them to deal with the problem and generate result. And in the process, the program also hopes to establish a systematic problem-solving mechanism, helping different industry to deal with the problem in the future. And in this AI Talent Charge Program is also cross-ministerial. So under Ministry of Economic Affairs, there were quite a few activities. Under Ministry of Science and Technology, there was also this establishment of AI Innovation Research Center. It has been designated to 4 universities focusing on different areas on AI fundamental technologies and holistic healthcare, on smart biotech and Medicare, on smart manufacturing, and on smart services. These 4 universities are serving as hubs to foster different AI technology and core technology and core application development within the hubs. And also the government work with the private organizations, international organizations, also try to cultivate human resources so that they can serve as application pioneers, leading the rest of the application development. There was a success story where some state-owned company send their specialists to be trained in AI Academy. And in the end, they were able to provide their knowledge to the company to expedite their AI adoption for different companies. Other than human resources cultivation, another key issue is developing core technologies, as I said, not just on fundamental hardware and software technology, but also on application core technologies. Again, a lot of effort were cross-ministry and also cross-industry. And in order to build up these core technologies, in fact, Ministry of Science and Technology has organized 5 different programs to support the cultivation of human resources as well as the technologies. One of them is so-called AI R&D platform. I think later one of the speakers will also talk about their participation on this platform. It is an infrastructure to support AI research, and also AI Innovation Research Centers, which is what I described just now. There were 4 designated by Ministry of Science and Technology and focusing on different application area. And there's an AI Robotic Hub, which is a place where a researcher can try on software and hardware integration and having some hands-on experiences so that we can develop this AI robotics. And there's a semiconductor moonshot project. It's mainly to tackle the bottleneck for the semiconductor industry to enter edge AI area. So it is basically for cultivating top human resources, top talents for chip design and semiconductor manufacturing process to bring Taiwan into successfully into the AI chip leadership area. And also for more public involvement, there's this Formosa Grand Challenge. So there in the challenge, it is a arena contest or ring match kind of format. So in the challenge, problem will be raised, and it is everybody is welcome to participate and try to tackle the problem together. The next one is on AI navigation promotion. Is again it's a cross-ministerial cooperation, and it's focusing on chip. And I think by 2019, there have been at least two alliances were formed, one on AI chip and one on AI system. And they also had a very successful case where fingerprint recognition chip company was able to become global #2 in shipment. And it is under the support of the program, also work jointly with the government and non-profit research organizations such as E3 and other organizations to improve their competitiveness globally. So Taiwan alone will not be able to accelerate the development of AI that rapidly. So it is also very important to bring in international resources. So I think later there will be a speaker talking about AI International Innovation Hub. I think I will just briefly touch upon them. I think it's focusing very much on the collaboration locally. And also it is trying to foster growth of the companies with the coaching and with the development support. And other than focusing on startups outside existing corporation, I think it is also encouraged to coach corporate invested team to spin in as AI BUs, and also matchmaking with a lot of help from Asia Silicon Valley, where they can provide a test bed, and also entrepreneurship park can also provide a lot of resources to match up with the needs of international venture capitals. So again, I will just skip the basically there were some cases of international hub. I think it's starting to grow. And I will leave it to another colleague to presenting the contents. So towards the end, I want to also emphasize that AI transformation of the industry is also a very important goal. That is having the industry in Taiwan all benefit from AI transformation. And with the experiences, we can also transfer the experiences or hopefully promote it internationally. So on the one hand, we are trying to attract more AI research centers to be established in Taiwan to help Taiwan to grow further in terms of technology, in terms of human resources, and policy instruments can also be used. But besides that, we need to have very strong infrastructure to support the transformation, AI transformation of the industry. So I think it's not just not only the infrastructure, but also we need to have very open service platform. We also need to have some service center like IoT integration service center and innovation matching platform to support SME for their development. And there were also some cases done, and under AI Go, there were at least 32 enterprises in 6 industries have problem raised and have a lot of these cultivated talents helping them to solve their problems and realizing their AI services. And Asia Silicon Valley play a very important role in 5+2 industry development. It is also playing a very important role integrating all these development so that in the end, we are hoping to attract more international company coming to Taiwan to experience, and also hopefully they will bring in the investment later on. And reversely, hopefully the development result in Taiwan can be used to export our software hardware integrated solution for vertical industry. And to support all these development, many regulation and fields were open and released. In the interest of time, I think I will just skip them. And right now, 2 were already passed on fintech and on recruitment of foreign talents, and others are either on drafting or evaluation stage. And there were also cases where we have test bed for unmanned vehicle. They were first modified unmanned driverless buses ready, and government also opened up a lot of data so that industry can utilize data to develop their application. For example, the 5,000 sensors for water, air, ground, and hazard have been deployed. So all these programs as a whole can cover the AI industry ecosystem in Taiwan. And currently, in the first half, after the first half of the 2020, I think the evaluation of the AI ecosystem in Taiwan is that I think gradually, although we have pandemic, but the pandemic also helped us to grow retail and digital marketing application. And healthcare has a lot of healthcare AI has a lot of growth as well. And we can see gradually over the past few years, Taiwan has already cultivated a friendly ecosystem for AI startup. And I hope that for those of you who are not in Taiwan, will be interested in coming to Taiwan because I think that this friendly environment will be able to helping you to build up your AI application and technology, and also creating synergy for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joe, for your inspiring speech. And now we have a number of fascinating application cases that are brought to us today from our guests. First, please let us invite Ms. Kate Shan from the Digital Service Innovation Institute at Institute for Information Industry to talk about Taiwan AI Hub.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm Kei Chen from the Institute for Information Industry in Taiwan. It's an honor to be here today, and our team is really happy to have the opportunity to share what we are working on. And my topic today is the Taiwanese AI platform, AI Hub. Please, next page. So, AI Hub is a project that belongs to the Digital Country Plan promoted by the Taiwanese government. In 2018, the Taiwan AI Action Plan to promote several AI-related goals. The plan seeks to apply smart technology upgrades and service innovations in order to promote economic development and improve the quality of people's lives. Based on the technology and R&D engine of Taiwan's telecommunications industry, the plan's goal is to speed up the development of the AI industry. We identify the niche areas to develop niches integrated chips and subsystem platforms. And we also combine forward-looking core technologies such as cloud computing, big data, and AI to complete niches, application solutions, and smart service ecosystem. In the long run, we seek to launch Taiwanese products and solutions into the Go Smart Service value chain. As you can see the slide, the standard procedure of an AI hub project starts by enterprises or companies putting forward their demands in AI applications. Then the platform will offer technologies or match up section via export consulting group. And in the end, an ecosystem for AI industries will be created. In the bottom, you can see the participants include government units, the media, and provide sector, so we can always receive feedback from both the public sector and the professional or the private sector. In this way, we can fine-tune the overall direction based on the advice we receive. Please, next page. AI Hub also connects to other AI platforms in Taiwan, including AI Go Enterprise Problem Solving and Thailand Conservation Platform, National High-Speed Network and Computing Center NCHC etc. As we integrate the three AI-related units, what we seek to achieve is to strengthen Taiwan's AI solution anchored and to establish a benchmark case of industry AI applications. Please, next page. So about achievements of the platform. Up till now, we have successfully recruited 1,038 experts, collected 103 application models online, and we'll also connect 130 startup teams. Besides that, we have also cooperated with 16 applications to create 21 demo projects. We also practice 74 cases of AI cooperation and promote AI application in more than 1,100 enterprises. Please, next page. To make the platform more effective, AI Hub has very clear goals. So how do we make sure of the effectiveness? Each year, by observing the international trends, we will identify and focus on different areas of AI, and below are the areas we'll work on. In biomedicine, AI is used to help classify symptoms by analyzing the medical images, and there are more examples on the slide. We also focus on manufacturing, healthcare, and worker safety. And in the following slides, I will explain how AI can help us in this topic. Please, next page. The first example is manufacturing, and we all know it's very labor intensive. But nowadays, labor is becoming more expensive. So how can AI help us? The answer is AOI. Automated optical inspection examinations in the textile industry, because most manufacturers rely on human inspectors to do QC. With AOI close inspection requirement, companies can help reduce the burden on human inspectors. But there was a problem. Similar technologies abroad are too expensive, and domestic solutions in Taiwan have a high aerial rate, around 70%. So the solution was impractical. Therefore, the AI Hub project helped create the first AOI expansions requirements in Taiwan to overcome the issue of soft fiber optical blind spot. It has an accuracy of 19%, but it is only 30% of the price of foreign solutions. The aerial rate direct from 70% to 20%, and the solutions can save 50% of human inspection time. Please, next page. This slide is about the worker safety. In the past, we often hear accidents at factories and construction site threatens the life of workers. So we came up with a set of safety requirement checkup system to ensure the safety of workers. Since these accidents are sometimes caused by employees not wearing proper protections requirement, not paying enough attention to safety signs, or actually entering a dangerous area. The system will check if workers are properly equipped and set a clearance control to keep the risk as low as possible. AI can help on-site managers because safety control by human alone is not easy. But now, exactly does this work? Well, the system uses cameras to do face recognitions, safety requirement checkup, and movement sensing, which can work as electronic fence. With this system, workers who are not properly equipped will not be allowed to enter the work site. You can check the photos on the right to get the idea. Please, next page. Last but not least, smart healthcare. As you know, a lot of countries are becoming an aging society. In 2018, Taiwan enters the age society era, and by 2026, will become a super age society with more than 20% of people at age 65 or above. Taking care of the elder is also a problem in many countries since there is not enough human resources. And this application is a solution. In this case, terminal sense technology is used to detect actor falls, and it successfully relieved manpower demands in care centers. As mentioned earlier, long-term care companies are often running short of professional staff, so they are not able to attend to the elder 24. Also, the elder are most likely to fall or sleep in the wet bathroom, but usually using the bathroom is a very private thing, so it's really hard to strike a balance. But with real-time sense technology, there's a solution. So how does this work? This solution uses AIoT thermal sensors to direct the elder's movement, and this prevents senses injury in case of fall. In the elder falls, the sector will send on board and get help instantly. So this technology can ensure safety without invading their privacy. Please, next page. Please, next page. Okay. Since the AI Hub is an ongoing project, there are still many possibilities. We look forward to collaborations in the future. Thank you for your attention, and this is the end of my presentation today. And thank you everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your sharing, Ms. Kay. Next, please welcome the CEO of ASUS Cloud, Dr. Peter Wu, to share with us on the case of AIoT system design and deployment experience sharing Certis Group. Please welcome Mr. Wu.
Hello, everybody. I'm Peter from ASUS Cloud. It's an honor to be here to share one of our high-impact AI project of ASUS that we are cooperating with Certis in Singapore to develop an AIoT system. Okay. From the very beginning, I would like to share with you our quick update of ASUS. As you know that ASUS is one of the largest computer company in the world, and currently we have more than 13 employees worldwide, and beyond the 14 employees, we have more than 5,000 world-class R&D team, and there are about 500 AI in the cloud R&D engineers dedicated for the purpose that we are discussing today. And in 2019, we have 10 billion in revenue worldwide. And beyond computers, ASUS is right now focusing on 4 categories: computer, mobile computing, IoT, and the AI cloud. And for the AI-oriented efforts, I'd like to share with you one of our, it's our flagship project in Taiwan that Professor Zhou just mentioned earlier in the keynote speech, that ASUS, since 2018, ASUS cooperated with Taiwan Mobile and Quantum Computer to develop Taiwania 2, the AI supercomputer center of Taiwan. It's a project of our government's forward-looking infrastructure project, and it's a very large AI supercomputer. In 2018. It ranked 20th of the top 500 of global HPCs. And because ASUS put a lot of engineers in this project, and we proved that Taiwan can also develop large-scale, high-secure AI cloud infrastructure for the industry. So the ministry, the MOST 科技部 invite us to Certis in Singapore to share our experience and to see if we can help Certis for their AI initiative. So I would like to introduce a little about Certis. Certis is a largest security company in Singapore, and it's a wholly owned subsidiary of Temasek, and Certis is a security company with more than 30,000 employees in Singapore, and its legacy business focus are hospitals, malls, or airports. And not only in Singapore, its business is also in Hong Kong, Macau, Australia, and even Taiwan. And since, as I know, since 2017 or 18, they have a new business direction that they would like to embrace AI in their core business. As you know, their core business is security. It's a labor-intensive business. They see they saw the challenges of AI may disrupt their business, so they would like to disrupt themselves. So they have a new direction called Security Plus. They would like to combine their security domain know-how and AI to have a applied intelligence for their new direction. And they hope this new direction can double their business in 5 years. And for this direction, they also build a center called the CCAI, a Certis Center for Applied Intelligence, in their new building to support this project. Okay, and they have a high-level Security Plus framework that you can see that their own core business security. So they would like to converge all security operations in one platform, and the platform can embrace IoT and AI to lower their labor cost and provide more intelligent services for their customers. Okay, so as I mentioned, that the MOST, the ministry, invite us to Singapore to see if we can help Certis for this initiative. So we signed a MOU in 2019, it's just last year, and we helped them to build a mid-scale AI farm, an AI cloud in their CCAI building. And we also put AI engineers with their domain expert in their data to develop good AI models. And the good AI models can apply it in their customer site, and we can go to market with them together. And you can see that we have a ceremony with our deputy ministry, Professor Xi, and they also launched this project in 2019 in October. And the gentleman in the left side is also their deputy minister. Okay, so you can see that for ASUS, we treat this project as a high-impact industry AI project because we need to co-op with a big guy. They have domain know-how. They have good data, and they might need AI support, help from technology to engineering, even to go to marketing. Okay, so it's our new business position for ASUS that we can help them, or we can accomplish them from the technology to the go-to-market. Okay, go into detail. As I mentioned, that we first of all we help them to build a AI farm. So this is the high-level architect that we have them to build. It's an AI platform with a easy-to-use portal, and the portal can access a lot of AI paths and a lot of cloud resources from container, VM to storage. And this architect is similar to the architect we built from Taiwan 2. So you can treat this as a replication of our Taiwan Project 2 to international market. And this is an AI project, so we have to provide very good AI tools for them. So in the easy-to-use AI portal, we provide an end-to-end AI apps or AI pipeline tools from model management, model training to model deploying or monitoring in the edge. So you can see there are 5 features of our platform from intuitive user interface to pre-built AI framework to hyperparameter tuning, and even provide AI interface for their edge model management. So it's an easy-to-use end-to-end AIoT platform for Certis that help them have their domain experts to use lower time or lower efforts to build to solve their industry AI problem. And as I mentioned, that ASUS are not only to build an AI front for Certis, we also send our AI engineers in Singapore to build the AI model with them. And we see that it is a good cooperating model for ASUS, that we are not only provide tools, we can also develop the industry-oriented AI models for our customers. And this example is a crowd gathering scenario that used in airport or shopping mall. And they Certis customers needs a solution that can alert potential threat for the crowd gathering. And another example is a construction site safety. So it's a easy to understand ideas that we help Certis or Certis customers to detect personnel misconduct cases for safety. Okay, so it's a quick introduction of our Certis project, why we do that, how we do that, and what's the value proposition to Certis. And not only ASUS and Certis also treat this project very successful. So we have their CDO, Fuji, Mr. Fuji Fu, to have a very good compliment to us that ASUS did good job for AI, from technology to AI engineers, and even we can help them to go to market. Okay, so that's all for my sharing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your presentation, Dr. Wu. Next, let us welcome the COO of ION Networks, Mr. Eric Lin, to talk about how deep learning aids smart factory to manage cost efficiently effort attendance system. Please welcome Eric.
Hi guys, could you guys see my screen? Hello?
Yes, we can see. Can you also turn on your camera for us to see you as well?
Oh, I didn't see the icon on the camera, so.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay, so just like focus on my screen. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, hi, this is Eric Lin. I'm the CEO of ION Networks. My topic is how deep learning adds smart factory to management the cost efficiently and facial recognition and the system. But before the topic, I will just introduce our company for like 1 or 2 minutes. Okay. And here are the agenda of today's presentation. So ION Networks, we are a software-based company, mainly providing AI, video analytics, and also the video management platform to the enterprise customers globally. So basically, we provide platform services, also the AI applications to all the industry. And unlike ASUS, we only have 27 employees, and part of them are in Silicon Valley, California, and many are in Taipei. So we have 4 PhD, unlike ASUS has a lot of PhD. But actually, right now we have already reached about 3 to 4 million USD revenue start from last year, and we grow pretty fast. So right now we are kind of like leading video AI company start in Taiwan. Okay, so talking about the revenue wise, Coffeewire. So how can we make money? Short to speak, we provide 3 management platforms. The first one we launched, I think it's from 2014, is video management platform to collect all the digital images from IP cameras. And the second platform we launched is like, I think it's 2.5 years ago. It's facial recognition tendency, including visiting platform for enterprise or smart factory usage. And the latest one is the traffic management platform to manage all the devices and also the traffic AI analytics data from the roadside. So this is for the police station or for the traffic organization in many countries. So those are the three management platforms we provide to the users. And the most important thing is about, because many people talk about AI, but without the platform and auto control, the video AI, it doesn't make sense. For example, it recognizes my face. I think some actions must be triggered. For example, open the door or send a notification by app, cell phone to target person. So those are the platforms. The purpose of those platforms to connect also to do the action after AI analytics. And regarding the second section, the applications that we provide, we have lots of AI engines. So the first one we have done is the facial recognition system. And then for those 2 years, we spent lots of time on the traffic. So definitely the license recognition on street, and also the roadside and street side motion detection for the police station. And I think this is very unique for the traffic flow analytics because we are using the discharge error. And these are for the traffic organization because they require discharge because one discharge can cover one crossroad. So it saves a lot of cost for the installation and maintenance. But it's harder because the discharge has some curve. So it's very hard, very difficult to detect, to classify the vehicles or the counting things. And we also have a very new product launched this year. It's the fault detection system. We are using the Intel LiDAR to do the fault detection for the Medicare or hospital. The reason why is LiDAR doesn't have any RGB images. So usually people fall in the toilet, you cannot put the camera in the car. So that's why we are using the point cloud to do the fault detection. And apart from that, because with the change of the depth information, we can precisely detect for not just detect some false alarm. For example, if you just sit down, do push-up, those kinds of false alarm could be avoided in our LiDAR fault detection system. And the last one, but not this one, is the current smoke detection engines, usually for indoor and outdoor purpose. So actually for those years, we have developed those different kind of AI for the like smart city scale or enterprise Canada, government Canada. So basically we sell those products to the enterprise customer, and then they can take it to do some big tenders. So that's how we do it. And we have done all the development by ourselves in-house. So definitely we could install those applications inside customers' factory or office or in any data center. Or we could also deploy those solutions on cloud as well, VMware, AWS, GCP. So for us, any service is doable by our technology. Okay, so after the brief introduction about company, today's topic is how AI help the owner of the smart factory to manage costs efficiently. I think it's like 10 years ago when I just graduated, everyone talks about IoT, and after like 2 or 3 years, everyone was talking about the Industry 4.0. Until now, actually nothing happened. So those years, people talk about AI and 5G. I think the most important thing is how those technologies like improve the efficiency or save money or create demand or increase the revenue or profit. So these are the reasons that I share this study case to all the ladies and gentlemen. So the aircraft tendency, let's address the problem first. So why the enterprise require those facial recognition systems for the tendency purpose? First of all, neglect of the duty, because some people might just smoke for half hours and then check the toilet for another half hour, and then go to toilet maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So it's still lots of time, during the duty time. So usually the clock in, clock out system just control clock in, don't control clock out. So there will be some problem happen. And the most important thing about is the body punch. So what's the body punch? For example, usually in China or APAC, as well as in Philippines, Vietnam, Thailand, if the employee, the workers of the factory is above 10,000 or 20,000 workers, then it's very hard for the security guard to see if some workers punch 2 cards or 3 cards at one time. So that means the council corporate, the real person, didn't work, don't come to the factory, so they can still get a salary. Our case is very interesting because it's in China. The factory, there are over 180,000 workers, and imagine that it's real steady data from a Foxconn factory, also from Baocheng industry. The body punch is about 1 to 1.2%. So imagine that if 180,000 workers times 1% times the average salary of those areas, it's a lot of wage with extra pay for those workers who didn't come to the office. And the next one is the cost. Okay, so after we address the problems, the way we solve the problem is, like I mentioned, this case is in Foxconn, China, and this factory is the headquarters. So right now, people are using the facial recognition system to the attendance system and connect to the salary system at the salary. So I think this project, the total budget of the hardware, software integration, and the gates, all the devices and the maintenance for 1 year is about 4 to 5 million USD total budget. But 1.2% body punch, they just earn the money back after the 5th month. So that's why they implement this kind of solution in the factory. And the most important thing is because this project we have done last year, and some people try to use another people's photo or video to do the punch. So we also launched this one. It's very interesting. We are using the Intel Real Sense with our 3D algorithm. We can definitely detect it's a real person or a fake face. So for the Real Sense module, it's easy to detect, to distinguish the video or a photo. But we enhance the engine into a very unbelievable, status. Right now, we halo the eyes of the mask. Also, we can also halo the eyes and nose and mouth. So, it will be exact information from the module, but we still can recognize it's a fake face. And the recognition speed is really fast. It's like within 1 second. So for those recognition system, not only to avoid the body punch, but also to generate some unbelievable creation. For example, we are also working with slot machine makers. In the future, slot machine, you didn't have to prepare the challenges. You just prepare your face, then you can play the slot machine. And definitely, we can put the camera and also this kind of a panel PC devices, next to every entrance and exit. So you definitely can control the track of the path, also all the record of target person of a day. And besides of that, it's a very typical integration with third-party devices to lower down the labor cost. So this is very interesting because in the past, this factory is manufacturing the PCB. So one of the very expensive materials is stone. So they definitely put the metal detector of every entrance and exit, but they want to assign 3 security guards to check the metal detector, also check the identity. But right now, we arrange to plan the path with the gate and metal detector, also the facial recognition system. So it's a two-factor passing rules. If you fail to pass one of the factors, then the gate will not only close, also there is a light flashing next to the table. And in the data center, the surveillance center will pop out the real-time image to check who trigger the false alarm. So right now, in every entrance, they only have to assign 1 security guard. And all the security guards can get alarm from the, even in the surveillance center or from the cell phone app. Okay, so that's why, that's how and we design a solution to reduce the cost to the factory. Okay, so I think time is limited. So the successful case, I will just go through pretty fast. So this is Taiwan's biggest cancer center. In the cancer center, there is a blacklist alarm system, facial recognition system to capture people who had a fight in the hospital before, or people who left the hospital without paying. Next time, those people in blacklist coming in, we will detect and inform target person. And this is opening day, but so this is the factory case that I mentioned. I shared before about the bank projects, and Thai Airways it was bankrupt like 3 months ago, but right now it's recovered. Okay, definitely the lesion detection reinforcement, obstacle detection for railway. So those are the practical AI to help people have a better life, also have better profit and lower cost. So that's how we do, and I hope those sharing help you guys to find the right direction. So that's pretty much about it. Thanks for you guys.
Okay.
Thank you so much for sharing with us, Mr. Eric. Next, please welcome the Chief Digital Officer of Inventec, Dr. Wei Chao Chen, to share with us on the training data complexity of smart manufacturing AI.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Let me set it up. Okay, right. Does this work, I hope?
It works.
Okay, great. Thanks for having me. Thanks for everyone online or actually listening overseas or present. So this is Wei Chao Chen. I'm Chief Digital Officer at Inventec, and also a co-founder and chairman of Skywatch Incorporated. So today I'm going to talk about things that we have encountered in terms of doing AI in smart manufacturing. And because we don't have a lot of time today, apparently I think we're also a little bit behind, so I would keep my discussion short. Okay. So first of all, about Inventec. Inventec is a public traded company, and it has been funded since about 30, 40 years ago. It's considered a tier 1 electronics manufacturer in the world and also in Taiwan. Its annual revenue is about $15 to $16 billion as of 2 years ago, and I think still growing despite the setbacks recently with COVID-19. So we have factories in Taiwan and Shanghai and Chongqing, and these are the major sites, and they produce several products that you might be using now or before or maybe in future. So this includes about 15 million units of personal laptops per year, and about 4 million units of enterprise computing servers per year, and as well as solar energies and a lot of wearable devices and cell phones. Okay. So when we talk about smart manufacturing and AI, there are basically two major categories, and one part of it is called process automation, and as some of you have already mentioned, this includes maybe automatic optical inspection and production scheduling and testing and so on and so forth. So these automation involves replacing human with robots essentially. Now, the second part is about predictive analysis, and this includes things that are of a wider spectrum, including how to supply the supply chain and how to schedule production and how to make sure the products are made in a timely manner on the production lines. So in terms of manufacturing data, we basically focus on several aspects that are the attributes or specifics of manufacturing facilities. One of the biggest things that we can have observed so far is that data are actually sometimes and very often locked inside divisions and held within individuals. So these include a lot of emails, exchanges with customers, and Excel files to do the forecast and logistic management. And there are some ERP systems that may actually be yet another silo compared to other systems that we have in place. One of the biggest issues is that some of these data can actually be modified by individuals when they're being transmitted. For example, if you're attaching a file in emails, these data can be changed to suit individual needs, or they may be adjusted. And this is actually not very desirable in terms of data quality. Now, one of the biggest issues that we have found is that even though if we have data, sometimes these data cannot be interpreted without the user who is generating the data. So the interpretation of the data is not tightly combined with the data themselves, and this can be a problem in terms of how we use the data. The second part of the problem is that some of the data are actually just not digitized. For example, some of the production data may actually be only on the production line, and they are actually not available through the network. And sometimes they need to be captured by human, for example. And enabling the entirely digital twin production line could be difficult because of budgeting issues and concerns. And for example, some of the legacy machines may not actually be internet ready and IoT ready. And this has been a problem in terms of budgeting and also in terms of motivation of why we should capture these data. Now, finally, this is maybe one of the lesser evils that people have mentioned so far. The biggest problem that we have encountered so far is actually data lifecycle. So we have heard about the fact that manufacturing data tend to generate, manufacturing sector generate way more data compared to many other sectors. But not many people have mentioned the fact that a lot of these data may not be of sufficient value moving down the road. The data may expire in a few months in terms of their utility, and this is one of the things that I like to mention today. So in the interest of time, I will like to use one example as a driving force for the remainder of my talk. So this is involving laptop inspection. So we have several technologies that we have presented and introduced into our production line. And specifically, I do want to mention something that's easy to understand, which is detecting defects out of the product surfaces of the laptop. So traditional wisdom says that, okay, these products are mostly flawless, but if you take them onto a microscope, you can see a lot of defects, right? So this is with some image enhancement, you can already see a lot of defects like scratch, dots, and maybe some of the things that we don't actually care, like product logo. And if you just use a regular, edge detection machine, it would actually maybe detect the logo as a defect. So traditionally, this has been done in a mostly labor-intensive fashion, and we have these specs that came from the customers, and we basically need to make sure they comply with the standards. So these are human-readable rules, but they are not necessarily accurately followed by the production line because of the difficulty of doing this kind of inspection on a 10-second basis, which is the time they actually have. So what we did is that we wanted to encode these person's experiences or their behaviors as an AI, and then we essentially just dumped to them and created a object detection model for it. And this is the machine we came up with about a little bit over a year ago. It's kind of a prototype machine, but it actually works fairly well in terms of meeting the spec for the production line. So as you can see, there's a prototype interface here that upon raising the platform into the image capturing chamber, it would actually take a very high resolution image at about 40 to 50 million pixels and then detect all the defects in one single AI model. Okay. So this kind of works, and we try to deploy this to the production line. And this is what we found, right? First, we need to do labeling. And we hired actually a few dozen people to actually disable people for the benefit of the society to label these images. So as you can see, these people were actually having issues. First, this is a scratch they can kind of understand, and this is a dot, and they would label it as such. But when you see something that's actually not a scratch or a dot, maybe an area defect, they would probably need some more guidance in terms of whether we should add a new type or just use the existing label types for it. Now, there are other issues that we encounter, especially when you're looking at the side of the product. So we can see like things like tapes and screws, and maybe the whole thing is misassembled. And these are the defects that we were not made aware of until we see the actual images coming out of the machines. Specifically, these are the defects that are not specified by the customers. And we, as a human, would know that this is way beyond the standard of inspection, and we would not let it get shipped. But an AI may not be able to know this. Another interesting thing is that if you had an absence of label, for example, in this case, the port should have actually a USB logo next to it, but they actually didn't print out. So if the labeler were to label this empty spot as a defect, then the whole machine would basically be detected as defect. And this is very bad in terms of data labeling. Some other things that we have encountered when we are working with the labeler is that the boxes, the size of the boxes could be a trouble. We do actually do some post-processing to regularize the size of the boxes, but this had been a difficult decision or a rule for us to actually communicate with the labeler. This is also another interesting case. For example, as you can see, there's a series of dotted scratches. So one labeler may say that this is a big scratch, and the other person may see that this is a series of small dots. And it could be to your surprise that most people did not choose this option. They actually choose the small dot option because their labor is priced by the number of boxes that they actually found. And I found that very interesting in retrospect. So these are the ambiguities that for fully supervised traditional AI, we would have label inconsistencies, and these will cause the quality of the label to degrade. And then there will be a lot of delays because of this uncertainty and communicating back and forth between the vendors who are doing the labeling and the factory workers who are actually in charge of the QA standard could be very time consuming. So we have found that collecting and annotating these data would take several months. And these are the months we don't have, right? So we're collecting tons and tons of data every day on the production line. But the amount of data we could use, namely the ones with defects, are actually fairly minor, fairly little. And as a result, for example, a laptop may actually be produced over the course of a year. If we were to use a standard AI algorithm, we would have taken 6 months to actually prepare the AI model to be ready for production. So this is clearly not acceptable. And this is because defects are very rare and they could be anything. And to collect all of the possible defects would just be impractical from both labeling perspective and for production perspective. So we can't throw the money at the problem. So we actually need to be a bit smarter. So, and this is what we did. We had a lot of normal data, meaning that 99.5% of all the products coming out of the production line are actually good. So we can use them to form a mental model of what normal is, and then just decide things that are out of range to be abnormal. Okay? So this is actually something that should work, ideally. But when we're actually trying this in the production setting, there are things that actually broke. For example, we use something called an autoencoder to essentially encode the images and reconstruct them. The problem, this works fairly well when we are actually using them during the test time. Basically, if we can reconstruct images that are defect-free, we can essentially find out the differences and create a sort of magic eraser that erases the defects. And then we can come up with where the defects could be. Now, the problem is that the AI will become actually too smart eventually, and it will actually unintentionally reconstruct the defects. Okay. So to fix this problem, we actually had to invent a new algorithm that takes the encoded images in the latent space and then quantize them in something called memory bank, right? So the reconstruction will actually only come from these memory banks. Now, once these memory are done, they will be locked. And during the production time, we will have images that have possibly defects in them. With these images, we will use the learned normal features in the memory bank to reconstruct images. And because the memory bank sees mostly normal images, they will not have the ability to reconstruct defects. And as a result, we will be able to reconstruct images that are defect-free. So this, in principle, works fairly well, and we were able to come up with essentially a smart difference algorithm to take a diff between reconstruction and input image and come up with difference map. So as you can see, the one on the left are the object detection-based algorithm that we came up with last year, and they can detect some defects, not all, but some defects that are well labeled in the original data set. Whereas in the new algorithm, with anomaly detection-based algorithm, we can detect more defects that are within the bounds of the things that we want to look into. So this actually works better, even though that we're not labeling specific details in the data set. So for this, we actually tested our algorithm or system with standard industry data set. And as you can see that the input image with defects can be reconstructed, and the defects will be removed in the reconstruction, and then the segmentation would actually allow us to retain the defects. And this works very well across domains. In this case, we have transistors and then cables on the right. And as you can see, there are some cases where we can actually detect the color corrections, color correctness in these cables that we were able to detect. These are some other examples where we have a lot of textures, and traditionally it would have been difficult for us to detect defects from highly textured and regular textures objects. And in this case, we were able to detect most of the defects without much problem. For example, on the left, there's carpet, and on the right, there are ceramic tiles that have some cracks or some discoloration that we were able to reconstruct successfully. So based on this, we built a second machine. It can take pictures from the top and from the side. And then in the course of several seconds, it was able to capture between 16 to 20 images from the top of the image, the laptop, and the side of the laptop. And because of the simplicity of the algorithm, we were able to actually run these AI faster than the one we had before. And for all these images, it takes actually longer to transmit them into the machine than to actually run the AI algorithm on them. Now, similar to the one that was presented before in AI Hub, we actually had a working machine for the fabric detection. This one is actually not in Taiwan. These fabrics are about 2 meters wide and about 2,000 meters long. And because of this, it would actually be impractical to reject a whole row of cloths. So we were able to mark the locations and sizes of the defects. And this machine is in production, and the customer is planning to make more of these machines and deploy them to more factories. Okay. So I hope I haven't bored you with the details, but the reason I'm mentioning specifics of the project is that we have been able to find some reasonable success with these measurements for what a good AI project is. First is obviously high bang per buck, meaning that we can compute the direct impact of these projects, like the labor saved, the amount of time saved, and the amount of material saved, amount of customer satisfaction out of the things that we did. Obviously, indirect factors would be difficult to measure, but traditionally we actually have not reached this part yet. We still have a lot of projects that we can do that can derive direct impact. And second of all, minimum viable product needs to be well defined. In this case, the project that I presented before, we were not sure how to do many laptops for multiple sites in the first few months. So we just went ahead and did the top side. And that turned out to be useful enough and enough motivation for the customer to move on to a more sophisticated machine that can detect multiple sizes of laptop with top and side view. And finally, I'd like to mention again that we do need data for these projects. And the reason I mentioned this specific instance rather than a broad stroke of the industry is that we often overlook the data life cycle in terms of collection, labeling, using, and maintenance. we have been looking as an industry as a whole. We have been looking carefully about the AI model lifecycle, but I like to really raise the issue of data lifecycle and make sure that these projects, including the algorithm and customers and the value proposition, actually takes into account the data lifecycle in terms of their collection, their expiration date, and how difficult they are to label as part of the criteria of judging whether a project is good or not. Okay, so this concludes my talk, and thank you very much for your time, and hope if there's any questions I can answer afterwards, I'll be happy to take them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chen. And huge thanks to all the presenters for bringing us such insightful cases and presentations. Before we head into the panel discussion, I would like to take this opportunity and very briefly share with all of our audience on how you can get access to our platform, Smart City Summit Expo, and AI50 for more cross-border and cross-industry collaboration opportunities. So hello, everyone. My name is Nicole, and I'm representing the organizing team of Smart City Summit Expo. And today I would like to talk a little bit about the expo itself, and of course, one of the highlights in the event, AI50. Before we dive into the details of what AI50 is and what you can do with it, please allow me to briefly introduce the main event, Smart City Summit Expo, or as we call it, SCSE. SCSE is a B2B-oriented event that features a wide variety of activities, including the grand exhibition, professional conferences, and of course, side events such as the AI50 campaign. It is also now the largest smart city trade show in the Asia-Pacific region, and it promotes cross-industry collaborations by gathering different AI and IoT solutions from various industries, including healthcare, transportation, education, and building. Which brings us to AI50. Since 2019, AI50 was created to respond to the theme of SCSE, AIoT Invigorate Smart City, to collect innovative cases from startups around the world who successfully utilize the technology of AI and IoT in their solutions and applications that can also be widely implemented in building smart cities. With that in mind, as the biggest smart city platform in Asia, SCSE aims to carry out future visions by 1, accelerating the application and implementation of AI technology in smart cities, and 2, introducing AI technology to existing industries to encourage industrial transformation. And to fulfill those visions, we have decided to create and design the platform of AI50 for it to serve the purpose of encouraging the young and rising startups who have their solutions and applications ready to be discovered and implemented. Which is why in AI50, we gladly offer the platform for the selected startups to display their solutions, share their ideas, participate in networking and matchmaking activities, and all of that absolutely for free. You might be wondering what that means. Well, take our first edition of AI50 in 2019, for example. You can see the pictures here. When selected into AI50, you're automatically rewarded with free benefits, including 1 display space for you to showcase your solution in the AI50 pavilion, and you'll be given 10 minutes time of speech track to make presentations about your company and your service in a forum series. And you're also most definitely invited to all the networking activities, just like the cocktail party you see here in the picture. And that was our 2019 edition. We were going to recreate our success of 2019 to 2020 as we have received a major growth in terms of submissions from global startups. However, it was very unfortunate that due to the pandemic, we had to put a halt to the event and move it elsewhere. And then elsewhere is online. Because of the pandemic, not only AI50, but the entire SCSE has gone through digital transformation, bring along all the elements, including the exhibition, the conferences, and matchmaking is all going online. So in July 2020, we have officially introduced a new virtual platform, Smart City Online, In a way, Smart City Online is basically the SCSE, but reimagined and online. Whatever you seek or wish to do in SCSE, you can probably do it on Smart City Online, in a sense. And that's exactly what we did. The AI 50 Pavilion, the Foreign Series, and the matchmaking sessions are all going online to the platform, just like the way it's supposed to be. The platform, the pavilion still collects and shows the exhibitors' displays, and the foreign sessions are now digitized and uploaded to our YouTube channel and are available for rewatch any day, anytime. And matchmaking sessions are super easy to book as everything is just a click away on our matchmaking system. And you're definitely recommended to check everything out on the website, smartcityonline.org.tw later. So there you have it, the whole picture of how you can use this platform and what you can get from AI 50 as we aim to continuously to strive to fulfill our visions. Next year, we're bringing back AI 50 both online and on site. If you wish to be featured in the AI 50 and get rewards, including the free display space, the free speech opportunity, the online and on-site AI 50 Pavilion, invitation to all the activities, please note that the application is now open and is absolutely free, and you're more than welcome to check for more details on our official website, en.smartcity.org.tw, or see the link in the description. And that is my time for today. And please be advised that 2021 SCSE will be taking place in March next year from 23rd to 26th in Nangan Exhibition Hall 2 in Taipei. And we hope we see you there. Thank you. And yeah, that's for my presentation. Now let us get back to the exciting part, the panel discussion. Once again, please welcome our moderator, Mr. KJ Liu, to host today's discussion. And please let us invite all the speakers to join the discussion on transforming AI industry. Mr. KJ, the floor is yours, and let us welcome all the speakers to join us.
Okay, I think we are running a little bit late. Okay, at least 15 minutes. Okay. Let us try to, actually you see there are three general questions, okay, we list here, okay. I don't think you need to answer all those three questions. Let us try to make those three maybe to combine as a one, and then you think you can answer the one you feel more comfortable, okay. Let us start, let Dr. Chen again, because he's so let him to take a little bit rest. And let us start with Dr. Chu. Okay, I don't see that Dr. Chu's show here. Do we? Yeah. Can we show all the speakers' photos? Okay. So Dr. Chu. Okay. Since I'm very familiar with your background. Okay, you almost play as a government think tanker. This is from my understanding. Roughly, I don't know if it's right or it's wrong. Okay, but anyway, I think that you can see that actually we just heard about Dr. Chen. He mentioned the data. I think that today the mainstream AI is a deep learning. Okay, so you mentioned we know all the three building blocks: computing power, algorithm, and the last one is the data. Especially for the deep learning, you need a big set of data. Or you need an efficient small set of data. So anyway, you mentioned the Taiwan government pretty much focused on the first one, because we are very good on the manufacturing. So other than those, reduce the cost, branding, increase the revenue, any other benefit you think that you can suggest? I hope you can especially answer the last one. How should Taiwan mobilize those resources to help the other country so we can export our experience or the solution to make our industry more viable without exporting our the industry? I think we cannot survive. So I hope you can focus on the last one. I don't know if you can help us or not. You can share with us your view, okay, from being a government think tanker.
Oh, okay. So I think, well, first of all, I think I enjoyed the talk by Dr. Chen very, very much. I think he provided a lot of insights on the technological parts of the AI. I think also from the project perspective, it's very helpful. I'm also working on smart manufacturing too. I think one thing on the data that I want to, or on the AI part that I want to stress is, I think AI will bring us some benefits and competitive advantage. But if you view AI as a tool that will replace humans, I think eventually it will become a major issue. So I think along the line, maybe we also want to look at AI as a collaborative tool. Or when we call AI, we know that it stands for artificial intelligence. But I think people also consider AI as augmented intelligence. So maybe when at the same time, I mean, we can easily identify those so-called low-hanging fruits, and we can tackle those issues from the industry's perspective. But I think from the academia or from the government, we also want to look at the holistic impact of AI. So trying to identify area where human and AI can play a very collaborative fashion, so that AI is relieving human from those mundane or those repetitive, boring jobs. Humans will human labor or human intelligence can be relieved for more creative work or for more caring work. I think even for product design, in the past we said that AI cannot do design. They don't have creativity. But even if they cannot do job with creativity, I think in terms of generating a lot of solution for human to assess, it will be something useful, and it also play the complementary tool, complementary role for human. So going back to your question, sorry, the last question, I think for sure, I think in terms of economies of scale in Taiwan is definitely too small. I think everything that we do in Taiwan should be targeting international market. I think so far, until recently, I must say that Taiwanese government has promoting more and more startup, which also have very tight linkage with international partners. I think that's something very important. I always feel that a lot of talents in Taiwan, particularly our engineering training, has created a lot of talents in Taiwan. But when they have good ideas, they don't know how to articulate their ideas. It's very difficult for them to communicate with people in different areas. Very difficult for them to communicate with people speaking other languages. I think more and more in Taiwan, the government has brought in a lot of international partners where they bring in connections in Taiwan. So hopefully, I think this idea of the government that is providing more testbed or validation fields for international company to come to Taiwan, working with the government, working with the environment provided by them, they not only help the development in Taiwan, they also they can also find it fruitful for the development in Taiwan that they can apply overseas.
Okay, thank you. Your point, I really echo with you. Yeah, until reaching what we call the singularity. Okay, I think we need to human to collaborate with AI. What I call human need to dance with AI. Okay, and definitely the government. I think that they did a lot. They did a lot good job. Provide all the living lab for today's subject for AI. A lot of the test bed, okay, for the AI industry, for the AI industry. So I think that definitely we move to that direction. Hopefully, we can do more the AI project. And I think that Taiwan have a lot of good talent. We really can do something, okay, to help our AI industry. Okay, thank you very much. And then I turn to the K. I think it's a K there. I don't see her picture there. K.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I don't see your picture. But anyway, Kay, I think you have a similar background as Dr. Chu, okay? You have been working in the government. You have been working as a legal person, working for some of like today, the III, the semi-government organization. I think especially the project right now, you're working on the AI hub, okay? So you have a special background, okay? So any particular view of the you see you can help us, you can share with us, and then to help the AI industry in general. Do you hear me? Hello?
Okay.
Did you hear my question clearly? Hello? Do I need to repeat my question? So are we losing her internet? It's okay. Are you there?
Repeat your question.
Did you hear my question?
Could you please repeat your?
Okay. What I was saying is, you had a similar background as Dr. Chu. You have been working in the government before, a legal person, and today like the III, the semi-government organization. I think that for you, actually, I like to show you the questions. Being this position, what is your specific view? You think that from government side, you really can help the people in the industry, or the company in the industry, to do something, the AI project, more helpful, more useful, or more fruitful, okay? It seems to me that, as I said in the beginning, today the mainstream the AI is deep learning. Okay, we need a more bigger data set. Okay, compared with the China, the other like the USA, I think this is our weakness. Okay, so do you have any particular view or perspective? You think or other general view you can help the company, the industry? To use AI to be more meaningful, to be more fruitful, to be more productive?
Okay, I think the Taiwan's government to do the AI industry promotion is for 3 ways. One is the training, people's training, and the second is the industry promotion, and the third is the international global to trade. So I think the III will be someone to connect the channel about the school or the government and the companies, and we can cook the channel to help them. For example, the solution should be provided based on each region's unique industry structure and demands. For example, Taiwan Industry Development Valued has exported a system of AI talent training to Thailand and has cooperated with private companies to help Thailand train AI talent. So I think it's a good way to do something, help the companies.
Okay, so pretty much what you told me is AAA, all the E3, all those the legal person, the organization, really playing a bridging, okay, connecting the company, the industry with the government.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah. Okay. So we have a training. I think it's important. Yeah, for sure. And how to export out the AI, the use case of the AI solution to the overseas, and then to help the other country. I think this is the last step. We think definitely we want to move to that direction. And today, it really comes down you and Professor Chu, Dr. Chu, to do something on the government side, and then to help us, the company in the industry. Okay, thank you very much. I think that pretty much get your points. So I'd like to thank you. I'd like to move to Eric. I think the Eric, this not. I think I know you did overseas. So this is a project you have done with the Philippines and the other country. I remember last time you told me it's in the Philippines. So anything you can share with us from your past experience? You spend so much effort, so you can share with us, so we know how we can also make the next move to offer our solution to the overseas.
Using the reception is pretty bad. So could you guys hear me?
Yeah. My question is based on your experience. Okay. Since I think today the IO networks, I think that it is a start, but I think it's you went through the halfway for your journey. Okay. So I try to also I knew that you pretty much focus on the deep learning on the AI. So like to more, and if you can share, okay, what's those successful project, especially the AI project you have done with the other vendor or other partner in overseas.
Oh, sure. I think my way to do, in my perspective, because our company is AI software-based, algorithm-based company. So in my perspective, it's like the way divided into two parts. One part is, like I mentioned before, you need to address the problem or the issues very precisely. So one case to share is very interesting. Let's see my screen. Okay, it's the first inquiry of facial recognition system from a very big tier Taiwan manufacturers. And they invite like 3 to 4, I think it's over 5 famous AI companies to do POC for them in China. And the purpose of them is to catch the thief who steal the, some cell phone or money from the shoes cabinet. So the purpose is just like that. And the problem adjusted at that time because there are over 200,000 workers in the factory. So there are definitely over 200,000, shoes cabinets in the factory. That means the factory needs to put around 4,000 cameras with facial recognition AI engine to catch the thief. And I actually asked those people who the average data, how much money have then been stolen per year. So the annual stolen money is around over I think below 40,000 USD. So it's very funny because if they want to reduce 40,000 USD, they need to spend 20 million USD to run face recognition system. So that problem is just we tell them that we create the POC process, but we suggest them to do the tendency system. So after like 1.5 years, we got the PO for the tendency system. And so many Taiwan AI companies did some POC for this purpose, but they spent around years and they got nothing in return. So I think first of all, you need to address the problem very precisely, because the evaluation of AI solution is just a math. It's just a math calculation. For example, how much they need to spend, and if they are using traditional technology, how much they can to fulfill this demand to solve the problem, or they just don't think that the problem goes, but they just lost a little bit money. So problem solving is the first key that we will do to manage. The second thing is, after you done implement, also done the solution with your partner in Taiwan, then that means you test all the difficulty, especially in outdoor conditions. Outdoor, there are lots of noise to affect the recognition accuracy. So after you've done those difficulty with the partners in Taiwan, then it's your time to go business overseas. You definitely can work with the partner, for example, like ASUS or even TAPE. They have branches or subsidiaries in any countries. So you can work with those tier 1 Taiwan makers in other countries. That's the ways. That's the two main ways we are doing for these 6 years. Yes, hope this could balance to you guys as well.
There is one. I have one just curiosity. Yeah. So the recently I I saw some news. Okay, the transformer going to replace the CNN. As I said, today actually for deep learning, the two major focuses are the computer vision and also the natural language processing. I'm not surprised that just before I saw all the cases pertaining to those two territories. Okay, so for you actually did you have any chance? I mean, to use the new algorithm in Taiwan to apply to your solution? I just wondering for start company like you. I mean, from time to time. I mean, did you evaluate those new algorithms, whatever over the time?
Excuse me, I don't know what's the problem. I think the reception is a little bit bad. So your question is how do we work with Taiwan system integrator or telecom company?
My question is from time to time, being a startup company, did you have a chance to talk to the people, to the government or to other people? I mean, to improve to redevise, re-strategize your solution or.
I got your question. So I think to our company is totally different because at the beginning we just target the enterprise level market. So we stick in this role, in this way, and work with the enterprise. And at the beginning it's a little bit hard because many enterprise they worry about if our company cannot survive maybe within three years, stuff like that. But actually, I think in the first 2 years, we provide some free DLC to prove our technology to work to solve their demand. And then after we offer this the requirement they set, and then our solution to their internal usage or their customers. I mean the customers' customers. So after the 2 years, I think we got enough reference with the tier one branding company. For example, now we are working with a very huge company in Japan, like top 3, even like NTT, SoftBank. They are all our companies start to work with us from the end of last year. Definitely COVID-19 influence will be about a process, but all the demands are still existing. So I think after those pandemic, we still got a bright future with working with them. So I think at the beginning it's really hard. You need to address the problem precisely, and then maybe you need to do some free stuff for the tier one. But after you can prove your technology, then I think you got a chance to conduct the solution inside them and inside the supply chain. And after that, because you have those references, then you need to show those references to other tier one in other companies. Then the channel, for example, like our company, right now we are focusing on the telco company and also the top 2 system integrator in Thailand, Vietnam, and Japan, also in the United States right now. So I think after the startup, past the initial difficulty, I mean the black time, then it will be a really good future for us. Yes.
So I think there's no magic formula. You have to generate a successful case first, and then you can make a reference and then duplicate to other country, to whatever the country you want to.
It's about you really need to. Really need to finish one project with money, not just free DLC, because DLC, I think DLC doesn't mean anything. So the most important thing is you get money after client check all the solution, test the regulations, and your product is mature and can work anywhere. So if you can pass difficulty, then I don't think it's really hard to work with tier one company.
Okay, I think I totally agree. I think every technology, it is the same. So does the AI, and you have to make a small or POC project successfully first, and then you can duplicate to other territories or even export to the other country. Thank you for all your points. I think the last one we go to the. Okay, sorry, Dr. Chen. Okay. Actually, the Dr. Chen's background is very interesting to me. You have been working on the Nokia for 3 years, and then even the NVIDIA for almost 4 years, 5 months. Since you have been staying in California, I think the Palo for a while. Okay, and those are big companies, and also today they are the leading company in the AI industry. So I really want you to share with us some experience since we are talking about the AI, like the NVIDIA, like the Intel, definitely Nokia is a big telco company. But from Dr. Chen, your point of view, I think you really can have again. I think the number 3, the last one, from being working so many years, 7 or 8 years in the Silicon Valley, and then to come back to Taiwan industry. How do we export? How do we offer? Or how do we, we can do something to help to move to offer our solution or to move our solution to the other country?
Right. Thanks. So I think it's too big of a question for me to answer. Actually, I'm just working on a case-by-case scenario. But if I were to say, I think we need to be a bit more complementary in terms of what we do compared to the Silicon Valley, maybe against mainland China and all these bigger players. So if you can see that the talk that I was talking about, we weren't trying to be the biggest data provider for the biggest industry, right? AI is about many small verticals, and as some of you have shared earlier, that these verticals would produce many vertical solutions that are actually very specific to the domain. So what we're working on here is just a case-by-case scenario to make things that we know that only we can make. For example, these I don't think that there are many people who can do that. And whenever we do anything, for example, I have a startup company that's been doing very well. It's called Skywatch, right? We're doing things with hardware and software collaboration. And whenever I do anything, I would actually ask myself, what would my peers in the Silicon Valley do? They have 10 times more money. They have a lot of talent, and what don't they have, right? They don't have a lot of basic connections with for a lot of these solutions we provided. They don't have agility in the sense that we can work with various industries. For example, basically in hardware domain, for example. So that's all I can offer with my limited experience. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that I don't have too much time now, but actually the last week I even saw news. Australia, then the AI can do the divorce. Okay, the AI is very. I don't know. Even AI can help you to do the divorce. But as the doctor said, that we have a verticals, so we should pick up the vertical. We think we really can make something happen. I totally agree with his point. Doing some.
Can I actually make one more point?
Okay.
Right. So I think in terms of these projects, a lot of these projects tend to focus on maybe cost or a very important thing is the value chain, the value delivery. So what kind of value can we deliver with introduction of these technology? So Dr. Chu mentioned earlier that we can have human to a person sort of collaboration, and I partly agree with it. So the things that we are doing with process automation is actually replacing human instead of collaborating with human. To use the same technology for example, human collaboration would mean that we can provide this purposes such as product qualification. So we get a lot of parts from our suppliers. Right? So from the suppliers, we are actually going to move our machines to the suppliers so that they don't have to check the product case by case. And this is a different value proposition, right? So instead of saving 2 person on the production line, you can get to have a qualifying process that's automatic, that's basically AI powered, and that's actually in the company, right? Create way more value compared to just saving 2 person on the production line. So I think value proposition for these verticals are actually critical point in terms of how we deliver and price these products. Thank you.
Great. Totally echo with your point. Okay, I think we're running very late, so thank you all. I think all those heavyweight speakers today give us share and give us all those things, okay, especially on AI. So I give the floor back to Nicole. Any other thing we want to?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. KJ, for moderating the discussion. And our deepest appreciation goes to all the presenters for joining us in today's session. Once again, thank you all for participating in the AI Innovation Application Forum, Transforming AI Industry. Please stay tuned to our channel for more information and updates, and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time, and thank you everybody for joining us.
Okay, thank you.
See ya.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Stay safe.